a sitting here wondering, got a matchbox holding my floor. I'm a sitting here wondering, got a matchbox holding my floor. I ain't got no matches, but I sure got a long way to go. I'm a lost poor boy and I'm a long way from home. I'm a lost poor boy and I'm a long way from home. I've never been happy 'cause everything I ever did was wrong. If you don't want my peaches, honey, don't mess around my tree. Yeah, if you don't want my peaches, honey, don't mess around my tree. I got news for you, baby, I'll leave you here in misery. Let me be your little dog until your big dog comes. Let me be your little dog until your big dog comes. And when your big dog gets here, watch how that puppy dog runs. I'm too busy. I got time to be playing the guitar for you. Welcome to the Busy Guy Show. My name is Vince LoCascio, and I'm a busy guy. You can't be too busy because if you're sitting there watching this show, it means you got nothing to do right now. So thanks for watching. I want to tell you a little bit about the new format that we are doing. I don't like to say the word I got a great crew here that helps out. But I'm doing a little musical intro, talk a little bit about, have maybe a couple of guests, and go from there. So we're almost up to 50 shows, which is I find hard to believe. And tell you a little bit about the new format. First, I want to tell you introduce a couple of good friends that I have here that I consider friends. And if you read about me on my website, I was a garbage man for the city of Chicago at one time. And I got a beautiful looking garbage truck here, complete with a couple of garbage cans. And then from there, went on to be a chauffeur, drive a limousine for Nick's Fish Market. And so those are going to be my new little props. They're going to be on the desk all the time. Tonight's guests that I want to welcome, two guests. The first one will be Dominic Candeloro. He's a historian. He's an author. He's a librarian, runs the curator at the Casa Italia in Stone Park. He's here to talk about a little bit about his books and about a new project that he's got coming up. And then also I've got Jennifer Jambrosek. She's a holistic coach. So we're going to find out what a holistic coach is. And so thanks for being here. Hope you enjoy the new format. We're going to take a little break, do a little commercial, and I'll tell you a little bit about the commercials we're going to show today. They're Italian-American celebrities that came out to talk about how great it is to be proud of being an Italian-American. So I'm sure you'll recognize a couple of the faces. So we're going to go to commercial. When we come back, we'll be talking to Dominic Candeloro. Busy guys.
Every single day, my mother was in the kitchen. My father cooked too. He made a really good sauce. My mother made the best. The meatballs were like unbelievable. Forget about it.
The Italian-American heritage. Live it, love it, celebrate it.
Welcome to the Busy Guy Show. Welcome back, I should say. My guest here today is Dr. Dominic Candeloro. He's an author. He's a professor of history. He's curator at Casa Italia in Stone Park. Among many things, he is a true believer in keeping alive the dream and making sure people of the future know about the history of Italian Americans in Chicago. Dominic, welcome to the show.
Oh, glad to be back.
Nice to have you here. Before we get on to a big project that you're working on in a campaign, let's just review a little bit about some of the things that you have done in the past, some of your books here about Italian Americans in Chicago, and newest books that you have had come out.
Yeah, the newest individual book that I've done is on Italians in Chicago, 1945 to 2005, and it focuses on the immigrants who came after World War II. And some of them were the most successful Italian Americans that we have in the community. It's a really wonderful story, individuals, mostly pictures with profiles of a lot of important, interesting people. Yeah.
Just want to give you an opportunity to talk about that briefly.
Yeah,
Tell us
well,
what
that book is the 30 smartest authors about Chicago Italians put together in one anthology that Fred Gardefei and I edited a couple of years ago. And again, we're putting between the covers of books the stories about Italian Americans in Chicago. And that really is my passion, to preserve that story, because it's at danger of being lost. As we move on into the 21st century, Italian Americans and other ethnics are intermarrying, and we're getting further and further away from the experience that the immigrants had. And if we don't do something and do something bold, it'll be as if they never existed. It'll be as if Italian Americans woke up one morning and everybody was middle class and pretty much American, with only a faded notion of where they came from.
I think your dream of making sure that people and our children and their grandchildren know about the Italian Americans in Chicago.
Yeah, well, that's why we at the library try to preserve photos, documents, memorabilia. That's why we worked on, and they came to Chicago to create a video story, a general story of the history of Italians in Chicago.
And that was a great documentary that you had a big role in
Yeah.
in helping make.
Yeah, Gia Mella really did a fine job, and again, I think that every Italian American should have a copy of that DVD. And you know what? It's online, and it's free in its entirety and in its parts. Gia Mella has made it available at ItaliansofChicago.com.
How nice is that? Free 99.
The-
But it's out there.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, how generous of her and everyone else that contributed to it. I know the pet project and campaign that you're working on now is about an endowment that you want to take place at Loyola.
Yeah, some people don't understand endowment, but it's becoming an important thing on university campuses around the country as finances get to where they are. And what happens is that at one point, an investment is created, an endowment, a fund, and out of this fund, the revenues that are generated each year from interest, that is used to fund the activity involved. In this case, we're trying for a professor of Italian American Studies, and it's at Loyola University, Chicago. Father Michael Garanzini has given us a fantastic offer. He's offered to match $500,000 from the Italian community. And with that $1 million will be created a fund. The principal will never be touched. With the money generated from the revenue generated from that fund will be used to support a faculty member whose only responsibility will be to research, write, teach, and promote the story of Italian Americans.
Okay. So with that in mind, out of the kindness of his heart, Tom Dreesen, an
Oh, yeah.
Italian American from Chicago, actually he's from Harvey, Illinois, put together this YouTube promotion for this campaign. So why don't we watch that and see what
Yeah, Tom did a
has to
great
say
job.
about it.
Hello, my name is Tom Dreesen. I'm here in the Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. I'm a stand-up comedian and former resident of Harvey, Illinois, and proud Italian American. For over 14 years, it was my privilege to share a stage with the most well-known of all Italian Americans, at least in show business, Mr. Frank Sinatra. I'm here today to encourage you to embrace a unique opportunity available to you and to all Italian Americans. Loyola University President and CEO, Father Michael Garanzini, has launched an initiative to preserve and promote the Italian American experience. Loyola is seeking a a $500,000 commitment to this initiative to endow a professorship and create an Italian American Studies program. To demonstrate its commitment, the university will match those gifts dollar for dollar. When completed, it will be possible for a student to achieve a degree in Italian American Studies, a major that is not currently available in the Chicago area. It would then be possible for him or her to immerse themselves in Italian American culture, language, and rich artistic traditions without venturing outside the Chicago area. They will be able to take advantage of Loyola's unique variety of available experiences, including studying abroad at the John Felice Rome Center. A contribution to this program works on a variety of levels. First and foremost, it enables all of us to pay tribute to the culture and tradition by which we were raised. It honors all those who have gone before and created the tremendous opportunities we now enjoy. Secondly, your contribution helps to establish a permanent seat of learning to focus exclusively on researching, writing, teaching, and popularizing the Italian American story. Once endowed, this professorship can never be changed. The heritage that you and I knew growing up Italian is guaranteed to be passed from generation to generation, never to be forgotten. So instead of pizza night this week, eat at home and send that contribution to yourself and your children. Take a moment to think about how much your Italian heritage means to you and your family. Then write a check or go online and make a generous donation on the Italian American Fund. No donation is too small or too big. Just go to luc.edu/Italian American. Click on Make a Gift and type in Italian American Fund. Don't let your family down. This is the gift that keeps on giving. Please donate today. Thank you very much. Once the Italian community has raised the $500,000, it will stay raised. Combined with the university match, the endowment will never be spent. Investment income from the principal will fund the program in perpetuity, just like the hundreds of other endowed programs and universities in the United States.
Okay, that was great. So thank you, Mr. Dreesen.
Yeah,
Puts a little light on the picture of what it's all about.
Emilio Morone is a recent LUC Loyola graduate who shot that and edited it and did a great job on it. And I've been reaching out to everyone on the internet. I've made a pest of myself, but it is really a humbling experience to be out there fundraising. And the usual way that these professorships get endowed is to find, is a combination of things. You find one or two wealthy donors. Maybe they give a couple $100,000 and they put their family name on it. So it becomes the Joe Bacciagalup Professorship.
Yeah, I know Joe Bacciagalup.
Well, I have to call him up and see if he's going to come up with the money.
Hey, Giuseppe.
But then I'm also reaching out to every individual Italian American. We've joked around, there are 300,000 Italians in Chicago. And we've joked around that if we could have all the change that people have lost in their cars and in their sofas.
And their communion money.
We don't even have to dip in the communion money.
So we don't miss out. Let's tell people that the campaign has its own Facebook page.
Yes, it's the campaign for Italian American Endowed Professorship. Campaign Italian American should get you to the Facebook page, or you go to my Facebook page, Dominic Candeloro, and hopefully any of the pages of any of my friends have this the video, the Dreesen video on it.
Okay, so watch the video, and all the Italian Americans, anybody else that's interested and wants to promote, because Italian Americans have a big history of helping, Chicago, other than things that, people think about. But also you've got, because we're running out of time, but I know you wanted to mention a new book you got coming out, Italian Women in Chicago.
Oh, yes. Kathy Catrimbone and Gloria Nardini and I put together a book, and Diane Cosentino has done a bang-up job in doing the graphic design for it, and we're just about to bring it to the printer within the next week, and we should have it copies of it by the beginning of October, and we're looking to do presentations of it. It's another anthology. There are 50
Nice.
different, mostly women authors who've contributed to it, and we've uncovered a lot of information about Chicago Italian women. And you know, the title of it is Italian Women in Chicago, and then the subtitle is in Italian. It's Madonna Mia, qui devo vivere? And translated loosely, that is, Mother of God, you mean I have to live here? And that was the impression of some of the first Italian immigrant
Madonna
women as
mia.
they came. Madonna mia, qui devo vivere?
Well, once again, thanks for being on the Busy Guy Show. You truly are a busy guy. Here's some cannolis for you.
These will be eaten up before I get home.
And they're local.
Oh, that's what I need.
No such thing. Well, seriously, thanks for being on the show. I
My
wish you luck.
pleasure.
We take great pride in our work. I think that is one of the best parts about being Italian is the passion that runs through our veins. You know, it's undeniable.
The Italian American heritage. Live it, love it, celebrate it.
Welcome back to the Busy Guy Show. My name is Vince LoCascio, but you already know that because we already started the show. My guest is Jennifer Jambrosek. She's a holistic health coach. When is the last time that you talked with someone about your health and received the personal attention that you deserve? Could one conversation change your life? Jen, welcome to the show.
Vince, thanks for having me.
Nice to have you here. I hope after this conversation my life has changed as well.
Me too.
Let me ask you, what drove you to be a holistic health coach?
You know, I would say I've always had an interest in health, nutrition, but what really sort of, I want to say, pushed me over the edge is just seeing some people I know struggle with their health through the years and what these illnesses and diseases that are preventable a lot of times, what they do and how they can have an effect not only on the person, but on their family, friends, and everyone else. So it just, you know, the time kind of came where I decided I wanted to make a difference, and that's what I'm doing now.
And we can define it later in detail, but what is a holistic health coach?
So a lot of people think that a holistic health coach is similar to a nutritionist, which we kind of are, but we also focus on not just the food that you're eating, but also on your relationships, your stress level when it comes to working and things outside of the home and outside of just your body and health.
Yeah, because you do talk about it on your website about changing lifestyles for people.
Right. So with that, it can be anything from getting them on a new eating plan, but it can also just be someone to talk to at the end of a long day. The health coaching, as a health coach, spend a lot of time, communicating with my clients through email, phone, in person, and sometimes they just need somebody to talk to and talk their problems out with. I'm not a therapist or anything like that, but it always helps to have somebody to talk to.
Which, and I'm not a rocket scientist, but we'll talk about what the word holistic means. So that's what it means, not just giving them a diet and a program, but you're there completely for them.
Exactly. So it's not just focusing on just the diets, it's also focusing on, something as simple as looking at where the person is working and are they working in a healthy environment. I've worked in places where I'm sitting in a basement all day and not moving, and there's mold growing around me, and that's not exactly the healthiest environment to be in. And once sometimes you change that environment, your health starts to improve and you start seeing, aches and pains go away.
Yeah, it's good for a lot of reasons, I think, for anything you do to take a step back or take a step outside of what you're doing and look at it from a different angle.
Right.
So you studied at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
Exactly. They are based out of New York, and it's a great program. They really put you through a bunch of different dietary theories and provide you with all sorts of information, even on just how to market your business as well.
Which leads me to my next comment, that you have a degree in marketing from DePaul University.
I do. It was an expensive degree that I don't really use as much as, I would like to, but it really benefits me in so many ways with, the holistic health coaching and being able to go out there and find clients.
Nice. An expensive degree. So we're not looking for any cheap degrees here. You mentioned about when you studied over 100 dietary theories. Tell me about that.
Well, there are an unlimited number of dietary theories, it seems like, and it seems like every time you open a magazine or read a book that there's a different theory coming out. So I think a lot of people are sort of combining theories throughout the years. I mean, we've had so many different crazes. I can remember being, 17, 18 years old and the South Beach diet being the big thing, and reading that book and lasting on that for maybe a week, that diet. So it's really what it does by knowing all these different dietary theories is it helps you customize a plan for each of the clients. So, I'm not going to give you the same plan that I would give a 25-year-old female that walks in, which sometimes these books will make you out to believe that this diet will fit for everyone, and that's where I think people kind of fall into holes.
Oh, that's interesting. So the reason why you study these, I mean, you're not creating diets. You're saying that there's all these different ones to choose from, and
there's all different sorts of diets to choose from. Yeah, exactly. So, I might take a little bit of one diet and a little bit of another diet and combine those to make something that will work out best for you. Personally, I follow a gluten-free, dairy-free diet most of the time. I say most of the time because I believe that you can't really, you don't want to make yourself miserable. If you're out somewhere and you're at a wedding or something like that, go ahead and indulge and do something. Make it worth it if you're going to indulge. That's something that I really stress to my clients. Maybe don't eat the Little Caesars pizza or the small brand pizza, the box pizza. Go out and have the most delicious pizza you can think of.
Nice. Would you, because it's not that it's a very serious thing, of the gluten-free diets now, what's like celiac?
Celiac, right. So there's, some people have severe allergies to gluten. Some people have just an intolerance to gluten. I don't have anything diagnosed, but I do definitely feel better when I avoid gluten. I can handle a little bit here and there, but for the most part, if I avoid it, I feel a lot better, and it empties my pocketbook quite a bit.
It's no like hidden thing anymore. There's a whole sections in like Jewel and Dominic.
Right, and there's restaurants that specialize in it, so it's really, it's becoming a little more mainstream, which is nice, and I don't think it's a fad like a lot of people do. I think it's here to stay.
It's pretty serious stuff. I mean, I joke sometimes, and I don't make a joke about it, but when I was growing up, the only thing that was out there was hay fever. That people talked about that were allergies. Now they're just everywhere. I don't know, like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't know why we have more now than we did then. I've also had a pediatrician tell us that all Italians are lactose intolerant. They just eat and be miserable. It doesn't bother them.
Well, that's what a lot of times you don't realize that these things are causing a problem to you until you take them out of your diet and you go back to adding them in. I was the kind of person that could eat, an entire thing of fresh mozzarella. But once I took that out of my diet and I went back to eating it, I saw how miserable I was, and it just became that it wasn't worth it. My headaches disappeared.
Was it just because you're miserable?
No, not that. But it makes a difference when I a lot of times recommend an elimination diet, maybe not a really extreme one, but just a little bit, take out some of the common allergens and see if that works for you, and slowly add them back in and see if you have any reactions.
So what do? You pretty much take an inventory of what people are eating, their habits first?
Yeah, when a client wants to get going on the health coaching, they'll go to the website, they'll fill out a background form, basically. And so what that'll do, that'll give me a little bit of an idea what I'm dealing with. They'll have to answer questions about, like, what are you eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? What's a typical meal for you? And then what were you eating while you were growing up? Those same kinds of meals. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see. And one of the things is that, it almost kind of angers me that I had nobody telling me growing up that this food was bad for you, this food was good for you, because my parents didn't have anybody teaching them that. We're teaching kids so many things in school. I mean, when was the last time you had to identify an isosceles triangle? You don't.
Last Wednesday.
Yeah. I mean, you don't do that hardly any time in your life, but you should be educated on how to make smart food choices.
Well, do you think it's safe to say that a lot of the chemicals that they're using now weren't in foods back then?
Right, exactly. That's, that I think is making a huge difference on people's health and the allergies and everything today. And I've had, I've worked in the food industry, and owners, bosses have said thousands of times that, what's the difference? We're eating the same food that my grandparents ate. We're
That's
not
true.
eating the same food because there wasn't, all the pollution in the air. There wasn't the GMOs like there is today. And so it's really making a difference.
For the viewers at home, what's a GMO?
Genetically modified, so genetically modified foods. So they're taking basically, 2 plants, modifying them and turning into these super crops that maybe are resistant to pests and all that. And it's
Interesting.
not really benefiting us as much as they say it will.
I'm sure you do it, but I just wanted to ask you, do you recommend that your clients speak to a doctor first before they decide to change to a drastic diet?
That is a good idea. The funny thing about doctors is that they have little to no health training.
Is that right?
Or nutrition
Well, they're
training.
doctors.
Nutrition, they received little to no nutrition training. So they're not as familiar with diet. They really aren't. And it sounds kind of funny to hear somebody say that, but look at what you eat when you're in the hospital.
Well, this is one of those shows that I'm not responsible for the content
Yeah,
of
exactly.
the show.
I won't go on a tirade about McDonald's or
Okay.
anything, so
Or
don't worry.
about
We won't have an
doctors.
Oprah
I don't want to get in trouble with all the
fiasco.
doctors. But they could find out more of this about it, and we'll post it. Or if you're interested in finding out about it, it's sustainagal.com. What about the big point of combining exercise with a diet?
That's, definitely a great idea. And it's all about finding the right type of exercise that works for you. Not everybody loves running. Not everybody loves yoga. Just really, you have to go out there and you have to find something that gets you moving and that you love doing.
Nice. Well, we're running kind of out of time. I'm going to give you the traditional cannolis here.
Dairy-free, gluten-free?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I made
perfect.
sure of that. Another trendy word right now is sustainable. Before we, go away, what do you think? What's that all about?
Well, sustainable is really all about finding something that works for you that will keep you healthy in the long run, not just something that works right now, but something that you're not going to crash and burn when you're 20, 30 years down the road.
Okay. And also, besides your consultations, you'll help people with recipes and things that they should be.
Recipes, cooking demos, store tours, which is a really popular thing right now, where you actually go to the grocery store with the clients and show them where to find healthier alternatives to foods they
I
may
would call
like.
that hands-on.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you practice what you preach?
I like to think that I do.
Okay. Well, good. You look healthy. Take care of yourself. Namaste. Did I say it right?
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. What does namaste mean?
There's a couple different translations of that from what I've seen, but the light in me reflects the light in you.
Well, listen, I'm a busy guy. I can't sit here and talk to you all night. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the cannolis. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way.
It's all right.
I had an appointment.
You gotta go. No problem.
I had an
No
appointment that I
problem.
forgot to go to.
I'm a busy gal.
You are a busy gal. Thanks for being on.
Thanks,
I apologize to leave. I kind of ran out of time.
No hard feelings.